Hi, Bethlehem. This past Sunday, we started this journey called The Story. Now, the story is a tool that we are using to do two things. One, to help us understand what the Bible is about. That the Bible is about God's story, about what God is doing in this world. And to help us develop the habit of regularly, consistently reading the Bible. We know that there is value in this consistent practice of reading, studying, meditating on God's Word. We want to help you. We want to assist you in making that a habit in your life. Now, this past Sunday, I started with some introduction to the story, to give us an idea of what the story is about. That the story is focusing on God and what He has done through history. And this is something that the Apostle Paul emphasized in Acts chapter 13, verses 13 through 41. Now, this is one of the few examples of Paul's sermons that we have. And what we find here is that Paul is on his first missionary journey with his friend Barnabas. And they are in Antioch of Pisidian. And there, Paul and Barnabas go to the Jewish synagogue on the Sabbath, on Saturday. And they are given the opportunity to speak. And Paul takes this opportunity to point people to Jesus. And how he does this is he starts way back in Jewish history. This stuff that these Jews would have been very familiar with. He says, remember that God called Abraham. And he worked through Abraham, his descendants, through Joseph, brought them to Egypt, rescued them out of Egypt, gave them the law, had brought them to the promised land, led them through judges, and this all took 450 years. And then they wanted a king, and God gave them Saul, and then David, a man after his own heart. And to David, he makes this promise. And this promise is fulfilled in Jesus. And Paul spends some time explaining who Jesus is and how he's the fulfillment of God's promise. And this is the key. This is the thought that we need to start with as we go into this journey called the story. And it's this, that the Bible is one unified story that points to Jesus. The Bible is one unified story that points to Jesus. And that's the big idea. That's what I want us to come away with, that the Bible points us to Jesus. And the Old Testament is pointing us forward to Jesus. So much of the New Testament is pointing back to this man named Jesus, that is our hope. That is the promise that God has given to his people. And so our challenge this week is to commit to reading the Bible, to read the first chapter of the story. I hope that you can join us this Sunday as we continue on, as we dive into this book called The Story, and get a bigger, better understanding of what God's Word is truly about. Thanks, Bethlehem. I'll see you on Sunday.